The other thing that you touched on that I think is super smart and important for people to do, like the parents listening out there, regardless of what you want your kid to play, I think you need to make him a multi-sport athlete till he's like 12, 13. So, put him in baseball, put him in basketball, put him in swimming, put him in BJJ, put him in
pickleball.
Hey,
there's going to be a pickleball in Olympics soon and all that stuff.
You're going to be a pro.
It's very popular.
Pretty soon. So,
You're now tuning in to Unfiltered.
Do you want me to turn off the dehumidifier? Because it runs pretty loud.
Yeah, it'll run. Yeah, just to be safe. Got to have a dehumidifier in Florida. That's how that humidity is up in here.
It's insane out here.
It's crazy out here, man.
But I don't know. It's crazy because when you tell the dry people, the dry heat's pretty bad too. So
dry heat is the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's how we start Unfiltered. We have another podcast episode for you guys, and this one is we're taking it to the heart of Fort Lauderdale. We got the one and only Eric. He is a personal trainer. I mean, I'm going to let him introduce himself to you guys. So, Eric, thank you for coming on to Unfiltered.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Like always, much respect. And just I love everything you're doing with, all your business stuff and having this awesome podcast. The setup is sick. I'm Coach Eric. I go by Coach E mostly, but I do fitness and strength and conditioning for all ages. But I feel like I specialize mostly in youth sports and main ages is like 10 to 18, but of course I train adults too for main thing fitness, a little bit of weight loss here and there also. And yeah, that's pretty much why we're here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about some fitness stuff. I mean, I want to comment. You look great. You've been putting in that work. So we talk about stacking days, and I think Chris is definitely a super example of that because he's just been going insane the last maybe 6 months. Taking it to a whole new level, and he could tell you that like the consistency and the whole showing up daily, pushing through is kind of what makes the real difference.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, it's I kind of took that business mentality that I've had because business is very similar. You have to be consistent and you have to stick to a plan. A lot of people are always trying to find a shortcut. I mean, whether you're trying to get rich quick, you're trying to, look good and lose weight. Everybody's trying to find a shortcut because, I mean, we're human. We're trying to find the easy way out. So I was just like, I'm really good at business and I have a different mindset there. But I really sucked at my eating habits and my workout routines. And then that's when I was just like, let me go ahead and take that mindset and replicate it here and see what happens. And I mean, the results are showing and I'm not, I'm continuing on this whole journey and, anybody can do it. That's what I found out.
Yeah,
anybody can do it. So when you see, trainers out there posting all this content, it's great to see it. But, and that's another thing too that I've learned is also good to have somebody by your side. Hence a trainer, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're going to guide you in the right path. And because this journey is one of those journeys that is so easy to just fall off the wagon. And so you need somebody to say, hey, let's get back on, let's keep going. And life happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And mindset wise, like you stated, I think that's like the number one thing, you taking your mindset from business and applying it to that. I think I always say like, especially, I mean, honestly, any change is real behavioral and like psychological, honestly, at first. It's more of your mind. But once your mind can like change the way it like approaches things, I guess we could say it or think about it, then you're gonna do something different. And as soon as that happens, it's more like what you're saying. Can we continue the snowball effect? Because we could definitely slow up. And that's part of it too. Like I said, life's gonna life, but if we can get around that, I think it's always gonna be more beneficial, and you're gonna be happier with all the work you put in. Because ultimately, like you're still gonna have to try to do stuff that you don't like to do.
That's
so
true.
when you're getting something out of it, I think it always helps to continue. To continue to do it.
No, 100%. Well, I want to start off by saying, I want to take you back to, before, right now you got your business, you got your clients and all that. What kind of led you to get into this type of industry? Like, did you kind of like fall in love with this on purpose because you're like, I want to do this? Or did somebody kind of like open your eyes into this type of industry? Like, when did that moment happen? Like, this is what I want to do. I want to study this and I want to help clients pursue their goals.
I think I always wanted to help people do this because I had to like teach myself how to do it. Like when we were growing up, there was kind of like no trainers. There was, but they were like much more limited. And I would say another thing was that like, I felt like only the good kids had access to that type of stuff. Like if you were already really good, then you got introduced to this whole new other level of athlete, right? But fast forward that, I did my best to play high school basketball. It was super tough for me at 5'3", but I made it happen somehow. And then after that, I went to college really to be a physical therapist.
Okay.
So I was doing the 4-year exercise science at FAU. Shout out to FAU. You went to FAU too?
Yeah. FAU,
so I was here. So from there, I finished the 4-year. Was gonna go to PT school. I didn't get everything situated to get in on time, and I was like, man, I don't want to waste another year and a half to get ready for the I forget what's the undergrad test that you have to take. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I'm not gonna waste time for that. So I decided to get my real estate license. I started doing that a little bit, and then I ran into some friends from back in the day when I played soccer, actually, before I even played basketball. And these guys are starting a soccer training company kind of thing, and they needed somebody to be the athletic trainer.
Okay.
I had the degree. I hadn't coached yet ever in my life at that point. I mean, barely, but never really actually sat down, been with a client. So these guys put me on. I came in, and then as we were doing this, I took the CSCS, right? Because we're trying to get even more credentials for the company.
Yep.
And then after that, I realized that I'm like, man, I really don't know what I'm doing. Even though I have all these accolades, quote unquote accolades, degrees and certificates, I still don't know how I'm training people.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of kids. It was it was youth soccer, so we had as young as 7-year-olds, of course, which were not really strength training, but you're just teaching them soccer. But then you had the older boys who really did need that stuff, and me as a person who was a player knew that they needed it. But I was like, man, we're not doing it right. So that's when I actually said, okay, I'm gonna actually figure out how to do this the best way possible for my athletes to get the best results that they can get. And obviously to put them in that position that that's when my whole 360 moment was, because I was like, well, this is what I didn't have when I was young. So now I'm going to do my best to provide it. I know it's a little bit of a niche, and obviously dealing with kids and being yo, I can kind of deal with kids. I can kind of be patient enough and just understand the process of maybe not being really good and then putting in that time to get good, because there's a transition program period. And you kind of got to be able to what's the word? Keep the kids, be tough enough on them for them to grow, but not too mean so that they can continue.
Away.
Right.
That's such an important phase. I mean, any youth coach, whether you're a high school football coach and stuff like that, like you said, it's true. Not everybody's gonna be LeBron James out of the gates.
Correct.
So, but that LeBron James could be in there, and you don't even know. So the next thing you know, you don't want to go so hard, because yes, we know where they can be mentally and physically and all that, but they're not ready there yet. So you have to build them up, and the next thing you know, the diamond in the rough just kind of starts showing.
I think the diamond in the rough is everything with athletics. It's the only place you kind of really see it, because I'll always point this out. You talk about the best player in 7th grade, best player in 8th grade, regardless of sport. We talk soccer, basketball, baseball, whatever. Regardless of sport, the guy who was the best in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, he's not the one that gets number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
So that's something that I want parents to hear and understand. It's you got to get your kid to be as good as he can by the time he's 17, and that's athletic wise and skill wise in his sport wherever he plays. And then from there, that's you have him as prepared as you can make it. From there, then it's up to the kid.
Yeah.
But what happens before that is too much pressure younger. Maybe I like it, but it turned into a job way before it was fun enough for me to want to do it because I loved it. And so there you lose a lot of kids that actually could be really good. And I think that's what happens to the kids that is the number 1 player in 10th grade, and then he goes to college and just flops.
Yeah.
I think it's because they get kind of bored. So it's also trying to keep people interested. And obviously that to me is going to be up to the athlete. You could put him in the best position ever, but I think that's the whole thing of getting older too. Is you don't know what you really want to do till you're 16, 17.
That's true.
And some kids know sooner, and awesome for them, because then now they can implement all that focus earlier. But if you don't have it earlier, it's not a big deal. As long as you're kind of in the mix in those best years, because even when people go to camps, they're not looking for the freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah.
They're looking to look at the seniors, because there's a lot of kids, we're saying, great that freshman year at camp. And then by senior year, they're not even at the camp anymore because now they don't play.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or they got hurt. Or it could be so many things where the kids who are left over at the end are the ones to me that have the biggest opportunity, because they're at least in a good position to rise from there.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I actually know some friends personally that they were, I guess you can say, they were born to be an athlete. I mean, they were really tall. They're almost 7 foot and all that. And you kind of expect them they're going to play volleyball, basketball, something, right? And they did. But little to find out, now they're not doing that anymore. They were older like me and stuff like that. they told me like, hey, Chris, I never really liked playing basketball. My mom forced me to do it, and my dad did. And I did it because it was like me and my friends. But then they're like, hey, you can play in college. And I did, got my scholarship, but I never had a passion for it. And I'm like, and then so when you say like, these kids find out by 16, 17, or even sooner, if they have a passion for it, it's super important because it's very hard. It's a very tough formula because parents want the best for their kids. So, and then especially parents that have been played in any type of league or rec league or even watch sports, they're very competitive. So like, I want my daughter or son to be the best in whatever sport. And we all want that. That's great. But not everybody's going to be that person, right? No. So then you have to, if the kid finds interest, that's why like right now, my daughter, she's only 2. I'm going to have her try everything out. And whatever she falls in love, and I know how it is, and I've seen it with other of my friends that have other children, where one day is dancing, one day is tap dancing, one day is soccer, the next day is something else. I don't know what's going to happen until 4 or 5 years later on when she'll be like, I don't really like that. I want this. Cool. Then let's go all in on that.
I was like
and if she actually is really good at that, then cool. Let's do anything that we can to help her. But let's do it in a way where like we're not pushing her, but she's kind of finding her way. Yeah. But then, yes, of course, if you do see that she has a talent for it, then let's add some assistance to it. And that's when the trainer can come in. And that's where it's very important to be patient with them. But yet there still could be that all that training can get put through, and the next thing they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yep.
So it's almost like that's why I said in the beginning, it's very hard. That equation, that formula, is not just you, it's not just the parents, it's everybody. So and then the ones that they do make it to college or MBA or whatever it is, that's why there's only so few, and and that's great. Kudos to them. But people always see they see on TV and like, oh, that can be me. I'm like, there's a lot of work that gets put into that. Yeah. Not just by that person, but a team around that person. So
I think that's important, the team thing. I think kids don't understand you need a team if you're really trying to be that good, because you're not gonna be able to do it by yourself, especially at that age. You're young, so you're trying to learn to figure things out. Yeah. And the other thing that you touched on that I think is super smart and important for people to do, like the parents listening out there, regardless of what you want your kid to play, I think you need to make him a multi-sport athlete till he's like 12, 13. So, put him in baseball, put him in basketball, put him in swimming, put him in BJJ, put him in
pickleball.
Hey,
there's going to be a pickleball in Olympics soon and all that stuff.
You're going to be a pro.
It's very popular.
Pretty soon. Yeah, I think so too. And so put them in a bunch of different things. And then around 12 or 13, they're going to start telling you which one they like better. And that's where everything you said comes into play. Now we could really add the time, invest the money, and really and also as a parent, I think you'll get more out of the kid when the kid likes doing what he's doing. When you're forcing kids to do stuff, it's just you're going against the grain, because I always try to tell people, and I put myself in that position, how did we think when we were kids? So you think you know everything.
Yeah.
So you have to so as the adult, you have to be able to not only give a little bit of advice, but if the kid doesn't have the passion, then forget it, because he might not listen to you at all. He might not even listen to some coaches.
You got to be coachable too.
Of course, important. But if you have passion, honestly, the passion can get you by till you can figure out to be coachable.
Yeah.
Because the passion is what allows a kid that maybe doesn't have a trainer to go literally every day in his backyard and practice till he becomes kind of good, because he likes it so much. So that's where I think the passion and the liking, it's important.
Now, sticking on that, how do you have you had the situation where, and we probably all know somebody where the kid is really good. They're, let's say in high school level, they're the best in basketball. That's the person, the best in that school, and he's doing really good. But there's so much potential out there, and that when he goes to college, he's not there yet, but his ego's in the way of I don't got to do all this training because I'm the best right now of this little world. Yet they haven't been exposed to the bigger bubble. So have you dealt with training athletes like that younger, and then what do you do when you're in that case?
Honestly, I'm more of the guy, I would say, that gets if you guys what I think is a good coach in my perspective. Again, this is all opinion, opinionated for sure, but I think the person that could train a beginner and train a pro. That's where I come in. I could train both spectrum, because they demand two different coaches and they're coming with two different mindsets. But if I had a player like that who was the thing is, the kids that are really good, they don't be looking for the coaching.
No.
And so what happens is they get to college and then they get smacked in the face by the reality of there's all these older kids that are not only older than you, they're tougher than you. And you know what? They might be doing all this stuff that people have been telling you to do that you haven't been done. And then you're going to be like, wow, these kids are so much better than me. And that's kind of usually the wake-up call.
Yeah.
But I think the way nowadays with the kids being exposed to pretty much, you could see what your favorite NBA players doing in the offseason. Like, if I would have been able to see what Kobe was doing in the offseason, it would have been a whole different year of basketball every time.
I think LeBron James says that he spends about $1 million, probably more because of tariff and all that.
A couple million.
Yeah, probably a couple million per year on his body. That means, people that are, he has a trainer for, I'm pretty sure he has a trainer for every toe on his foot.
Everything. It's a team. At that level, it's a team. But like for a kid, I would say it's more like based on what we were saying, it comes back just down to, okay, so all right, I realized that I wasn't as good as I need to be. So then when I come back, like I either figure it out in that season, or when I come back with that chip on my shoulder, like, okay, I gotta come back different because this first go wasn't what I wanted to do. So maybe I'll listen. Maybe I will do all the stuff that like certain coaches have been telling me to do, weight training, eating, all the I think sleeping. I think for everybody listening out there, if you want more out of your training, whether you're an adult or a kid or anybody like that, if you eat better food and you sleep better, like you will get better results. I think those are the two things that I think people we focus on so many other things. Especially the output work. Like value that a lot, which it is important. But I think when people are eating decently, and again, it doesn't mean you can't have junk food and things like that. You got whatever. Especially like a kid that's very active, he's gonna burn tons of calories. So you need to be able to fill those up. But at the same time, like, are they eating enough? Or are they sleeping enough? And if kids are not eating enough or sleeping enough, and same thing with adults, either way, like if you're eating too much and you're trying to lose weight, it's not going to work. And if you're trying to gain weight and you're not eating enough, like if you're trying to put muscle on, let's say you're an adult that wants to just get buffer and like put some muscle on, then either way, like those are going to affect you. And same thing back to the sleep. If you're not sleeping good, I think a lot of people don't realize that like that's like one of the key little components that like you can actually tweak, and it will be like you will feel different on the day to day. But obviously with our exposure to technology and so much stimulus being available, I think for kids that's what's tough too. Like we didn't have all that, and I think it's kind of a blessing, because like now the phone, you can play video games on the phone. Like there's so many. It's just so much tougher. It's like easier for them because they have the information. But now because they have more information, they have to be better to like know where to spend their time.
It's funny you mentioned about tech. I think me and Caleb were talking about this earlier. I think you had a question about technology in your field. I don't know if Caleb, you want to touch upon that.
Yeah, actually. I mean, how do you think tech has helped to advance athletes in the modern age versus what we had before, like back in the day, back in Kobe's era?
That's such a good question, because I think about that all the time. Because I would say, like, compared to most of my peers, at least in the South Florida area, like there's really, really good coaches all over the world, and obviously in America, like strength and conditioning. For me, I would say it's pretty big, and it's more advanced and known than like in other countries. But what's happened is that, for example, okay, back to what I was saying, I would say the most techiest coach out of like my peers. Okay, I really do use the technology a lot. The first thing I'll say is that the technology is just much cheaper now than it was when we were.
Yeah, it's more available now. Yeah, for sure.
It's not only more available, but like the price is like 10 times less to get the same piece of equipment that you would get, So to me, when I don't see coaches using technology, I'm kind of like, you guys don't really care because like it's not expensive and it can really drive your athletes. It can really, and that's where it's the difference. Like, I mean, somebody like Kobe, that boy never needed to drive. Like he was, it's what my mentality is technically about. Like he just goes for it. But I think in the youth stages, for me, for example, like sometimes I'll go to I always start the class and we're measuring something in every session that I do. We're either measuring vertical jump or sprinting. Like that's almost everybody, regardless if they're 9 years old or they're 18 years old. And obviously as long as they're healthy and there's nothing, wrong that we can't really push, then we're gonna measure a sprint or we're gonna measure a vertical jump. Why? Because for some kids, it just gets them fired up. Right? And it also puts that chip on their shoulder and my shoulder, because like if I'm telling you that I'm gonna get you better and you're paying me all this money, then I have to be able to give you some variables or like some numbers that say, okay, like when you got in here, this is what you was doing, whether it was a jump or a sprint, and now we're here 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, a year, and look, this is where you're at. And so to me, the measuring just allows the kids to be like, damn, I only have a 15-inch vertical. Holy crap, the guys in the NBA have a 35. So I got a long way to go. But like with me, what I always tell these kids is like, don't be discouraged because you're here so we can change that.
Yep.
Like we can actually literally change all of it.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I'm not doing what I'm doing, which again puts some skin in my like I put some skin in the game because now I'm telling you like, all right, well if we're not getting faster and we're not jumping higher, like if times aren't going down, like sprint times aren't going down and vert times and output isn't going up, then like what am I doing?
Yeah.
So that also again like to me that's just being honest.
No, that's good. I mean, you have to show. You know, it's like I tell everybody, data's king in anything, and I've also noticed that in like in my weight loss journey, like numbers are so important, and knowing the numbers, because a lot of people go, I don't want to track this or I don't want to do that. Whether you're tracking food or you're tracking like your bench presses or how fast you're running, stuff like that, you can go back and actually monitor your workouts, and then that's where your trainer can help you out. Like, hey, you know, let's tweak this, and I think knowledge is so important. And young kids, they don't know that. They think because everything's on TikTok, they can just go rely on the 30-second
They think they know everything, you know.
So because of that, they don't understand that. Like literally, like, okay, what do you want to do? You want to be a sprinter? All right, cool. And you can literally say, all right, we got to work on these muscles, this muscle, these muscles. So this is your plan. This is what we're gonna do. And they're probably like, why am I doing this machine? What is this? What does this do? But in the long run, that's going to help you to eventually give that extra push, that extra stride to, you know, to whatever competition that you're trying to go for, you know, and it's a process. You know, I think they get discouraged because they don't understand the bigger picture in the beginning. And they're just like, I feel like I'm just doing these workouts that are random. Like, they're not random.
But that's what we were touching earlier on you not only being coachable, but also like having that transition of like, okay, I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
So I have to, again, and this is hard for a kid, to put his ego to the side. For adults, we struggle with this all the time. Like, to put your ego to the side and say, okay, I'm going to try what this guy's saying. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Like, and then obviously another thing, like for people out there, like if your coach can't tell you why you're doing that specific exercise, I would go get another coach. Because anytime people are in the gym with me, if they ask me, okay, coach, why are we doing that split squat? Or why are we jumping, why are we testing verticals? Why are we testing sprints? Why are we doing this exercise instead of these cool exercises that I saw on TikTok? I'm going to give them a why right away. Like I know exactly why I'm doing everything from like what we do with our soft tissue stuff and the warm-ups to what I'm finishing with on conditioning. I know exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And also that's another thing I think with the baseline, like having some baselines, like I do like 3-4 things when I need the kids. So now we have all these things and now, okay, so you don't trust it yet. I'm going to tell you why. And then stick with it for 3 months. And we're going to see a lot of changes. And ultimately, the main change I think that everybody should be aware about, because like the numbers and all that is cool. But like when it comes to sports training, kids should be looking better on their sport, their endeavor. Like that's to me the number one thing. Like I don't care if my kids are jumping. Like I obviously do want them to jump higher and sprint faster because I know it would help them. But at the same time, I'm more interested in them playing better. So however, whatever that means, like kids know. And I think that's also another thing that I wanted to touch on is, all right, well, we are getting better, but now so like how good are we, right? And then that's where, again, like, all right, well, he's getting better now. Is he where he wants to be yet? No. And now with numbers too, we can say, well, look, the kids at the top of your class are jumping this, sprinting this, and doing this. So like we're not there yet. We're getting better. But at least we have, like you're saying, a little bit of a status quo. We got to be around there. We don't necessarily have to be better than those guys, but we obviously can't be like even 20% worse than those guys. Correct, because in sports, it's like a tiny 5% difference that makes like Messi better than like your other pro that you might not know about. Because Messi is that good, obviously. But at the pro level, like everybody's good. So he's just 5% better. Maybe it's mentally, whatever it makes him magician. Like that's what all these guys are.
The margin of error is so small. It's tiny.
And the decision making, like I think a lot of the better players, like they might not be the fastest or the strongest or whatever all the time. That's another thing that I want to clear up too, because I think that's super cool that people to know. Like, and again, you from playing sports, like the best bencher, the best squatter, the most strong guy in the weight room is not the best player.
No.
And I want people to realize that. So like chasing numbers is important. But again, if the numbers are not making me play better, then I gotta readjust my like how I'm trying to do this.
Correct.
But obviously, if your numbers are going up and you're playing better, then like keep doing what you're doing. So again, that's where like looking at the data, looking at the numbers, and seeing okay, what's happening, where are we going, and then from there like adjusting. You know.
Yeah. No. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I know, Kelly, you want to touch on some other stuff.
Yeah, I want to take it back to when you were talking about coaching the kids. I know some of them think that they know, what's best. They know what's best for them. But how do you build that trust and authority with them to get them to start like listening and kind of knowing that what's best with them?
Okay, I think the main thing too is like, again, like, because most people have some kind of little bit of coaching, so when they come to me, like a little bit at least, or maybe they did like a reg league and they didn't do that good, so that's why mom and dad are bringing them. Like I'm talking about my most young kids, right? So I think the first thing is they pull up and like we're doing all this testing that they might have seen like a pro athlete do. So they're like, whoa, I feel like I feel like a pro, even though I'm not a pro. I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be because we're doing all the things that they do, and then from there, honestly, through coaching, like. If for example, like my favorite one to do, which I got this from other coaches, shout out to the functional systems, functional movement systems people. If you want to look them up, is I think it's functional. I don't know the website because it's weird, but it's functional movement systems. Look him up. It's a great cook. He's like the main guy that created the screen that I use. Yeah. And for example, like he has this toe touch thing, right? Like I could pretty much get anybody to toe, like almost everybody, I would say, to touch their toes on the first, like if they can't touch their toes, we can get a toe touch the day that they leave. So like, to me, that's so powerful because a kid might come in and I'm like, we're doing through all the screens. I'm like, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can do this. But then maybe at the end of the screen, you could do like one or two of the things that we couldn't do in the beginning of the screen. So now you're like, whoa, coach got me to do this in one session. So that builds a little bit of trust. And then from there, ultimately, I always tell all the parents and all the kids, I'm like, yo, this is a long-term endeavor. If you want to be good, don't expect to come in here for 4 weeks out of a year and think that you are going to get better in those 4 weeks. But if you stop doing it, then you're probably going to go back to where you were. And I think that's kind of like your weight loss journey. Like you're understanding, like, all right, I got this good, I'm in this level, but now to continue to another level or keep doing it, like I got to keep doing it. And I think that's where kids don't get. They think like, okay, I worked out. I worked out 4 times in the summer. Like I think there's a great example right here. Ninth grader. Coach tells he's kind of good, right? He's like, hey, you could start JV next year, but you got to work out and get stronger. And then through the whole summer, like works out 4 times and then like comes back, nothing changes. And he's like, but coach, I worked out. But it's like, you did work out. Like you're not lying to the coach, but you just only did 4 workouts. So like in 3-4 months, maybe since last off season, you only did 4 workouts, like 1 workout a month. Like don't expect to see a lot of change. So absolutely. And even if you're gonna do 1 a week, which is most of my clients only come once a week. Again, the best ones they've been with me for like 1.5 to max. I mean 1.5 plus. So like my athletes just keep getting better, especially the ones that spend a lot of time with me. They just keep improving. But like I said, for people to be that committed, kid has to be kind of special. That's obviously, true. Finances for the parents have to be available. And ultimately, like, is the kid really down to show up? Because after a while, it gets boring. And it gets repetitive. We're doing the same things. But I think that's also, too, where it gets dangerous in the fitness thing. People start doing all these crazy stuff. It's like, no, stick to the basics. Keep it simple. And you avoid injuries, and you get people better. So to the coaches out there listening, if you want, like, if you're not understanding why maybe you're not having as good business as you want, then think about, like, am I hurting people? And am I getting people better? Because if I'm hurting people, you're going to lose clients fast. And if you're not getting people better, you're not going to pick up a lot of clients.
And there's also the clients, too. I mean, because, like you said, like we have information overload right now, and social media is to blame for that. So Instagram, TikTok, I mean, every day, there's a bunch of trainers out there putting information, and it's all clickbait, and it's all trying to get your attention. And they do a good job of it. But again, like there's no shortcuts in life, and there's a reason why people say that. But the thing is that the message is out there, and it's like, if you drink this, you'll lose weight, and then that's the hook, right? And then now it's just like the kid is like, well, whenever I do want to lose weight, I'm just gonna drink. They don't even watch the rest of the video. He's like, okay, cool, I just gotta go buy that drink, and I'm good. I'm like, that's not how this works. And then that's the problem. Like right now, the thing that's been pissing me off a lot is. There's been a lot of it's not the videos, but people thinking that that's all it is this going to the treadmill and doing incline and then doing walks, because there's a lot of videos saying don't run, do this, and it's low impact and you'll lose as many calories. At the end of the day, there's been some other trainer videos that I like where they're like, you can run and you can do this as long as you're fucking burning calories. It doesn't matter. Now, yes, you might not like to run, so this might be preferable to you, but I'm at the gym, and the reason why I say this is because I run. Like today I ran 5 miles. And I'm next to this guy, and he's like, "Yo, I thought you were gonna stop." I was like, "What? You thought I was gonna do like a mile and then done?" I was like, "I know this is what I'm doing now. I run without stopping. Even me and my trainers, the Vision Twins, we say no free miles. Yeah. No, we don't get nothing in life for free. So even if you're tired, don't do the whole like, let me put my legs to the side of the thing. I just walk if I need to. So at the end." They're like, "Oh, I thought this was gonna help me." I was like, "Well, it might, but to me, I'm down 100 pounds, and this is what I've been doing." Yeah. But the thing is, there's so many different ways of doing the same thing. Yes. The advice that I tell others, I'm like, you don't have to copy what I'm doing. Just find a plan, whether you get a trainer, whether you do it yourself, whatever the case may be, but stick to it. Yes. Because I found myself, and my trainers know, I think 2 months in, I was like, "Hey, I saw a video." This was me telling them, "I saw a video that if I eat this, I'll lose weight. Or if I do this type of workout, I'll lose weight. Should I do that?" Like, no, stick to the plan, stick to the plan. And I almost derailed.
I think that's the cool part about having a coach too. It's that you can ask somebody that actually knows. Like some of my online clients, like that's I think the biggest blessing for them, whether they realize it or not, is that they could ask me questions every day. "Hey, I saw this. What do we do?" And yeah, obviously as a coach, what they told you is going to be mainly my main answer. But hey, at least you're not going based, because touching with the next thing you were saying, what do we do with this information overload? Yeah. Whether it's kids or adults, right, guys? Like having discernment, having intuition to figure out what's the right knowledge, what you should be really tapping into. Like that's, I think right now, there's going to be the X factor in the next 15 to 20 years for all of us. Like whether you're talking about business, talking about health, talking about that, it's like, who are you going to listen to? Because depending on who you listen to, you're gonna have a different life.
That's true.
That's true. And again, that is all comes from like kind of your inner being, your soul kind of guiding you a bit. And obviously, like, look, you came across some really good coaches that really have helped you out. So to me, it's like you were looking for it, you found it, but you ultimately, regardless of finding it, you execute it. Yeah. Which is what that's where people get stopped. So yeah, you might find good information. Yeah. But if you're not, so I think another good tip is like experiment. Yeah. You know, like I think a lot of people want to just like, "Oh, this guy said it that it works. Okay, good. First step, are you going to actually do it and see if it works? Yeah. And then second, are you going to do it long enough to see the work happen?"
I know I'm not the only one that has seen a video, whether it's working out or even a recipe you want to cook, and you save it on your Instagram as a collection, as like, "I'll do this later," and never do it.
I have so many of those.
I have so many videos that I'm just like, and I go back and I'm like, "Damn, this guy's doing a really cool ab workout, and he said that he got like a 6-pack in 8 months by doing this." I'm like, I never even did it one day. Like, to see if it even works. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think execution is the first thing, and making that first step. I mean, even showing up. A lot of people think that they have to climb to the top of the mountain day one. You got to just baby steps. You got to get into it. Some people say like you got to build a habit, right? So some people say like if you're gonna go to the gym, just go to the gym, just drive to the gym, just be there. Even if it's not gonna work, just be there. You being there, it's gonna make it. The next day you're gonna go again, and you're gonna go and you're gonna do something else. You're gonna surround yourself on that, and that becomes normal. And that's the thing, you got to break out of your norm. Now, one thing that I wanted to touch is some of your. So let's say I don't know if this has happened, but your clients, right? Let's say a kid from high school, he graduated now, and he's going to the other side of the world, to California. And you can online train, but at that point, have you had a situation where he got a new trainer in that area? Maybe it's already provided by the sport. Does he put you in communication with that person to kind of like, "Hey, this is what I've been doing with him," or maybe do you want to better that process? Because I feel like you kind of like set the foundation. Yeah. And I feel like, this other person is going to go based on what they know, which might be right, but you never know what, everybody's different.
That one's so tough because, like, I mean, honestly, like, I've only had a few kids really go to college and go pro, but, like, to be honest with you, like, they didn't keep, I think if they kept listening to me, we'd be talking a whole different story for them. Yeah. I'm not going to say any names or whatever, but, like, I think that's the magic, like you were talking about. Like, if they would have had because this all comes to the athlete. You know, I want to help you, and I'm down to communicate with another trainer and figure out what's best. Especially because, like, to me, it's like, well, if you worked out with me for like 3 or 4 years, like, you got a really good foundation. Correct. Let's build on that. Now you're going to be in college. You provided a weight room. You provided a coach. You got all these things that are now like pretty much accessible to you. But if you're not trying to connect, like the player connect. Like I will tell my player, like, hey, let's talk to the coach. Let's see what's up. Yeah. And obviously, if it's if it's not if it's not Ohio State and UM and Michigan and like those type of schools, if it's like a small D2 or like a small D3, like they just give you a written workout paper and they're like, just do it.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, it's like, that's where the online training could come in, because it's like, yo, they don't really care what you're doing. So why don't we just bring you back better, work on whatever, like obviously be aware of what like testing the college is doing and work a little bit on some of those. Like, you know, if they're going to test for squat, if they're going to test for bench, like, even though I'm not a big squat guy or a big bench guy, like we're going to do some because I need you to just show up and do what you need to do for the team. But I'm going to do all the other stuff that I think is going to make you a better athlete, which entail is going to make you play more or play better. That's more important than the numbers because we're back to what we were saying. Like the max guy is not the best guy. So it's good to aim to get stronger and be better, but don't let that be what you hang your hat on to actually develop to become a better player.
No, that makes sense.
I'm actually going to head out. I've got some stuff that I got to take care of, but
we do get work done at Unfiltered behind the scenes. It's not just pretty videos and stuff like that. So deuces to Kayla.
Kayla,
thank you.
We'll keep the episode rolling. All right, man. Well, one thing that I wanted to touch upon is, let's go into how you get clients, right? Obviously, word of mouth is one way, which I think that's the strongest way. But you know, we gotta still brand ourselves, right? So one other avenue is social media,
right?
But it's so what's the term that I want to say? I'm losing. It's so. I mean, I don't even know the term. Competitive, yeah, but it's saturated. I guess.
Saturated,
it's so saturated in the sense that there's so many personal trainers per se out there that, I mean, it's almost like happened out of nowhere. Like when COVID happened and everybody became a real estate agent, and now it's like there's more personal trainers. Maybe not that many, but there's a lot more on social media. So how do you deal with that noise of like being? How do you make yourself different on social media so that way you stand out and kind of go after your niche?
Honestly, I try to niche as much as I can in both of my social media platforms. I have one for athletes and one for adults. I honestly, man, I kind of gave up on the whole like really trying to be different. I just like, hey, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna tell the truth because like I think ultimately with me is like that discernment, intuition, like. Only the people that I'm supposed to link up with are going to link up with, like, kind of how me and you linked up to do this, you know? Like, we're probably one of the few business friends that we know. Obviously, we hoop and we're friends from way longer than that, but, like, that actually are doing, like, a podcast, for example, right? So, like, that vibration that, like... So, to me, I'm like, you know, whoever's meant to come will come. I'm going to try to make the post cool, like, to what I can do and try to make things, like... But I always think the best thing in social media is, like, whoever is listening to this, like, if your stuff really works, just make sure you're letting people, like, see what you do. And explain it and give free tips and give free knowledge out. Because regardless, like, it's free to be on there. So, like, if you're just, like, worried about, oh, am I giving everything away or like, whatever, well, like, if your stuff works, like, who cares? Because majority of, like we were saying, you might say something really good on that post or give somebody like a really cool tip, they might put it on the save folder and never look at it again. But that can't discourage you from putting the information out there and just seeing like who it attracts. So as far as social media, not a lot of leads, to be honest. Like for the online, it's like okay here and there. Like I get a couple leads here and there. That's the platform I try to get them from. It's just not been like as great for me as like the in-person. And an in-person, like, I do get leads sometimes from kids because kids will see me like, oh, I saw you at this gym, or like, I know you train so and so, and like, so they'll DM me, and then from there we'll try to set something up. So that's one way. But for the coaches out there, if you're into sports, look into Coach Up, and look into lessons.com. So those are the two that I use, and that's where I would say like 70% of my new leads come from. 30% now I have like a really strong word of mouth, like not just word of mouth, but you know, I got this kid good. So now this kid, this parent is like, yo, what did you do with so-and-so? All right, here's Coach Eric. Go hit him up, and then he'll take care of you. And then, you know, that's kind of how it goes.
Well, now, the thing is, first thing, you know, a lot of people think that they have to, in order to do good on social media, they have to go viral, and they have to have a lot of followers. That, depending on your industry, it does not make sense to do that all the time. Yes, would it be nice to go viral and all stuff? Of course. But even the people that have gone viral, they go viral and they have nothing to show for it. They don't have sales. They don't have anything. They just say, yeah, I got a video that's 10 mil, but it doesn't really done it. I maybe got more attention. But I think you have to look at it like in your industry where it's your portfolio. So what parents are, because parents are going to look you up. So okay, is this guy at least being active, or at least he's giving like good tips? Because let's say they go on your social media and it's just you going to the club, popping bottles. It's like, wait, this kid's gonna train my my son and my daughter. Like what? So they want you to make sure that you're living in that world, and I think that's what you have on your content, right? So it doesn't matter if it has millions of views. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you're talking to the future client through your portfolio of Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. And then if one takes off, that's awesome. But also you can only train so many people, right?
Right.
So it's not like you're going after thousands of people to have per day. That's not the type of lead that you want. You want to have a good lead that you can, train them into your program and take it from there. So I would say, to anybody that's doing their social media and being a trainer and they're like, oh, I'm not getting that many views or whatever. Just first of all, you don't know who's looking at it. Mm-hmm. So don't be discouraged and just continue being consistent and just do like you saying like, okay, you're not trying to do something different, but you kind of are because you being you is already different.
For sure. I think that's number one.
That I think is I think that's what people should do. This instead of trying to be fake and trying to like, because there's a lot of social, there's different types of different influencers on social media. Right. There's the ones that are giving you the tips on how to go viral. And they're like, yeah, you want to get these many followers, do this. And then I go on their page, I'm like, dude, you don't even got that many followers. I'm like, what? Or then there's the funny people, and then there's the people that are selling you stuff. So again, you got to just squeeze in there and then just don't lose focus that social media is just one way of getting business when there's a whole bunch of other avenues of going about it. Now, do you do any in-person networking like camps and stuff like that? And then,
I mean, honestly, I just work with like a few coaches that I know like from here that are like, I guess I would say the thing with coaching too is like super ego like driven, like so like nobody wants to help each other. Everybody thinks they're better than everybody, and I'm not gonna be like
you're saying the coaches in general, like
coaches in general, and like, I'm not saying I'm that much different because I really do think like I'm one of the best coaches in South Florida, and I think a lot of these guys suck, and I'll be here on camera say it because like I never get to say it, but in this scenario I can really talk about it and just be honest with that.
That's why it's unfiltered.
But that's the level of like if you're really doing what you're gonna like what you do and you're good at what you do, like everything is gonna flow. Yeah, it's all gonna happen. But people are getting caught up in the like, am I getting enough views? Am I? Well, like first thing too is consistency. Yeah. Like, are you really gonna post over time? Yeah. Because longevity, I think, is the main thing that drives like businesses. Like people understand like your first year is gonna suck. Yeah. But if you can make it to year 5, like you're gonna be talking something different. But there's nothing that I can tell you of how year 5 is going to be. That's so totally up to the business person, right? So for me, if whatever you're doing on social media, it's more like you said, I think was really smart. It's like, well, obviously we call it a profile, right? Yeah. But like, in Spanish, profile is perfil. Like it's a view. It's like an aspect of you. So like whatever your social media thing is, it should be completely that aspect. Yeah. And like if you can build rapport for 5 years of like, hey, this guy has been coaching for 5 years. He does fitness things and gives information for 5 years. And he's still, like you're saying, currently doing it. Am I going to go with that guy or am I going to go with the guy who you said, I go on the page, he only has 4 posts and he's telling me that I could do this. Correct. So I think, again, back to the discernment and people just trying to make good decisions. Yeah. And obviously, like, I think, to me, I always tell people, like, come watch the session. Yeah. Like, if you want to know what good coaching looks like I never tell parents, pull up. Whoever want to watch, the more the merrier. Yep. Because what I'm doing here is the same thing I'm going to do if you guys weren't here. Correct. Yep. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be the same person, so it doesn't really matter to me. And now, too, I think that's what happens to a lot of clients, too, that why I end up getting, like, really good customer attention is because they were with some kind of other trainer, and then they made the transition, and they're like, yo, this is so different. Like, this is way better. Yeah. Even though I don't know what better is because I'm not like a strength coach. Like, I'm talking from the person on the other side of the lens. But they're like, man, this was really ran well. Yeah. You just know what you're doing. You know how to deliver it. And so I think, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to know who's really whatever, like they should be available to show you and teach you. Are you
collecting like testimonials from the parents after the program is done and stuff like that?
Here and there, yeah. I mean, I just ask kids all the time to maybe make me little videos. And
that would be really good, like for social and stuff like that, and even like a website, right? Even just having like a landing page.
Yeah, I just honestly just take people. I just send them straight to the coach up because it's 55-star reviews.
Zero.
Below, like everything is 5 stars.
So that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, do you have anywhere that they leave reviews? So there you go, perfect. Because that's huge in your industry because these are real people that have.
And these are people that didn't know me before they met me, so they got me completely through a third person A to C, hooking up the client with the provider, and they're getting paid for that. So it's like people that I completely don't know, I've never met.
Yeah.
And I know I build it from 1 review to 50 reviews, but just so people are watching, like that's 4 years.
Yep.
So you don't understand, like to build it's a process.
Also, just to kind of touch upon like the 5 year, right? Because every business is different. I tell a lot of people too, is like you're not going to see results right away. And if you do, look, you can win the lottery tomorrow. You can always win the lottery today, tomorrow, but that you can't plan that out.
Right.
That's just getting lucky.
Right.
So some people will get lucky, but you can build, and in your case, into your industry, you're essentially planting seeds in every client that you have.
Right.
So let's say you have 50 clients year one, you essentially planted times 5, times 10, because they're going to talk to their friends. And if it really works for them, they're going to, now you just multiply it. And the next year, you're like, why am I getting more leads?
Right.
And this is like word of mouth. It's like, well, it's because you did the good, you did the right thing by putting the work on with them. And then they accepted they trusted you. And then now they want to, pay back in a way, pay it forward.
And let's work, and like we can go into some more business stuff right there, because I think what's tough with, I would say a lot of the fitness people, like there's some people that are really good at coaching.
Yeah.
But like, they have no clue how to run a business. So like, they don't answer texts. They don't reach out to people. They don't try to even make a little email newsletter. Like they don't try to do anything to reach to people out.
Yeah.
They just think that everybody's gonna come to them. And so like, I think, first of all, if you're like a business person out there, like regardless of what your main service is, make sure you kind of learn a little bit about all the stuff that it takes to have a business a little bit, just because like you're gonna need a little bit of that info. And then from there, make sure that you're like down to keep doing it. Because you can't send a one blast text message one time asking clients if they want to train and expect them to answer you. You might have to ask them a few times,
I say it all the time. You got to be seen or you're going to be forgotten. It's real simple. And you got to you got to have a little constant reminder here and there. And to the point where you don't want to overburden them, like with 50 emails, no. But you'd be surprised. Like you said, one message, that's the initial conversation. There's clients that are impulse buyers where they're going to be like, let's do it. And you're like, oh, that's great. I want more of those. Everybody wants more of those. But then majority of the clients, they need to either research you or they need to think about it, whether it's financial, whatever the case may be. And then once they're ready, if you're reminding them and not just saying, hey, you want to train now, you want to train down, by providing information that you already have maybe for free on your socials with a video or tips and stuff like that, and you're sending it to them, like let's say they're a soccer player and you're going to focus on them, send them soccer stuff. Don't send them basketball stuff because now there's a disconnect, right? So those are the different ways where you can do this. And I mean, there's so many tools with AI nowadays that you can multiply yourself and not have to do it yourself.
I think touching on that next is like, the power of AI. Like I'm one of those people that like I'm not like super big on, or like my buddy JR says, like he's bullish on AI.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that. Honestly, there's like no way to not be bullish if that's something you're investing in, and because it is gonna grow.
Yep.
But what I want people to realize is that like it's just how you use the AI. It's not necessarily using it that's bad or good. It's like how you're using it. But I think the last couple of years has been insane for the one-person business, because the AI can just lift up so many things for you that before might take you 10 hours of man work that you can now do in an hour.
Yeah.
So there's kind of no excuses.
Yeah.
If you want to try, obviously if you have the access to hire people and have some people on your team to help you, like do it. Like if you have enough money, like that's one thing I'll also tell business owners, like don't be afraid to reinvest in yourself into some things that other people could kind of do for you.
Yeah, delegate.
That you don't like that you don't really like to do, or you're not good at.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to be able to afford that to get to that point, right?
Yep.
Like, don't waste money you don't got yet. But like, at first, you're gonna have to, thug it out literally and do everything. But eventually, like, get some help.
100%.
But ultimately, even just learning how to navigate the AI and being a little tech savvy is gonna help you a long way nowadays. 5 years ago, we couldn't have this conversation.
Yeah.
You would need a team.
Yes.
We were talking about it, how before to get the captions,
you
used to have somebody write
manually. That takes time.
It takes time.
Now it's like, boom, put it on the app, and you got many different options of apps. I mean, it's just insane. There's really no excuse. The tools are out there. Now you just got to know how to use the tools and put the research in on how to, like, you could use it for yourself and how it can help you. And then from there, you just kind of dive into it and just be consistent with it. Just don't give up. That's what it comes down to. Awesome. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you're Colombian, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this podcast, is actually, they haven't seen it yet, but it is a bilingual podcast. So we will be having some Colombian guests or anybody that's any Hispanic, heritage and stuff like that. Because essentially, just like my search says, it's Colombia, Fort Lauderdale, and New York combined in one, and that's what Unfiltered FTL is.
Right.
So how has your Colombian roots, maybe guided you in business in a way based on like maybe traditions or anything like that? Has it impacted you in a way where maybe being bilingual, you're able to capture a different audience,
It's such a good question. By the way, these guys right here, guys, like, I mean, I haven't been to, this is the only podcast I've ever been besides my podcast, but like the questions that they're dropping today, man, are awesome. So I really think that's so important, because the main thing with the roots, I would say, is that I'm just going to work harder than a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I think you're the same way. Yep. Like, we just have, and like Colombian people are just really hard workers. Yep. Obviously there's a lot of bad stereotypes about us, and those are true too. I'm not disregarding that any of that is true, but one thing you can't say about us is like, we show up and we grind, man. And so like, that's what's helped me out. I think sometimes when we go back and visit Colombia, the main thing when I come back is that like, to do whatever we did over there, it was such a hassle. Yep. Like, I don't know why I complain about anything when I'm back in the States, because everything is so much more convenient and easy. Yeah. And like, what, you know what I mean? And safer in a way. But it's just like, to me, that's the main root. Yep. Every time I come back, I'm like, man, why am I complaining about this? Yep. Like, I would have to do like 10 times the work if I was still living in Colombia to do what I do now.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you got to be appreciative of the opportunities and obviously take care of them.
Were you born here or in Colombia?
I was born in Colombia.
Oh, so I was born here, but obviously my parents and your parents too, migrated here. So having that chip on our shoulders that, like we're at the bottom as we were growing up. And then we never had a fast pass.
Right.
And again, for the kids that like, mommy and daddy were successful, because that's where I'm at with my wife and my daughter. She's going to be at a different level than I was when I was a kid. So the first thing, the things that we always talk about, my wife, is like, how do we do it where she stays humbled and understand that things aren't just given to her, because we have the money and we have the tools and we have the people references that can help in an instance, but we didn't have that when we were young, so like, we don't want to spoil them. You do, but you don't. So that's always the hardest thing. So with us, we have a chip on our shoulder. So I think that motivates us, whether it's in business, whatever we do, is like, we got to prove ourselves to everybody every single day. And that's something that you really can't really teach. It's just, you just have to be kind of like ingrained.
And I would say it's not prove yourself to everybody. I'll say it's just proving ourselves to ourselves. Yeah. I think most of like drive and driven people, like, I don't care who's watching or not watching, to be honest. I'm gonna just show up and do what I do daily, because I know, like, I think one of the main messages in this whole podcast has been the whole aspect of consistency and showing up daily. And like I say it in my style, is stacking days, right? Like, when you stack days, man, like, if you stack 365 times 4, which is like 1,300 something days, like, trust me, stuff's gonna change, man. It's gonna be different. But like, you can't expect to show up for 300 days of like 1,200 days. Yeah. And like, you showed up, 20 here, 30 here, 20 here, and think that it's gonna have the same effect that it has on you showing up daily. So I think that's where me and you, I would say, differ. We just really show up daily, and we're down to keep showing up. Obviously we're tired. Everybody gets tired. Everybody fizzles out. I think rest is important, and like, managing your life and all that. But at the same time, like, that drive, like, that's from within. It's like, it's not for everybody. Like, it's not because of everybody. It's just because it's just what it, and I would say that's part of the roots too. I think that's part of the roots, like, whether psychologically or maybe genetically, like, who knows, like, how we were predisposed, because like, obviously we are all like our little versions of our parents. Correct. Mixed into, two mixed into one, and now this is who we are. And then from there, like, we become our being. But like, there's a lot of stuff that, you might have got the good stuff, and then you also got some bad stuff. So you're gonna have to like take advantage of the good things that your parents gave you, but also, I think, work on the stuff that, because as we get older, now that we're adults, like, we could see, like, I'm not saying it's like faults or whatever, but we could see why we are certain ways based on like how our parents are. So I think it's cool for you to just peep that and work on that, because I think it'll help you in business and in life in general.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Not just, because I am this way, I'm going to stay this way because my parents has been like that and my grandma's been like that. And I think, like, you got to cut off those generational curses, like, whatever ties, whatever you can call them, and try to move forward from there.
No, I think, and then like to touch upon like let's say bad stuff. I mean, us being Colombian, we eat a lot of fried, greasy food. We eat bigger portions, and because of lack of education, I mean, my grandmother, my grandparents, there was no Google, there was no TikTok that will tell you and there wasn't even things in the store that says this is low carb and this is not. It didn't exist.
Right.
So it was very normal to just eat a lot and then eat all these delicious food. But so that was where that was one of the reasons why I was bigger and stuff like that, because of the fact that was normal eating habits for me.
Culture.
And you have to essentially just kind of like break out of that. But then also there's great traditions, there's things that we learn from them that we keep, family tradition and stuff like that. So, there's good and bad, but, essentially if whatever journey you're going to take, whether it's a weight loss journey, a health journey, being a better athlete, you have to understand that you are going to have to adapt to a better self, and you within have that person. You just have to realize to unlock that person and essentially get 1% better, like stacking your days. I say get 1% better every day. Like no matter, even if it's on a rest day, go for a walk. Do something low intensity, just so that your body stays moving and you're doing something versus just trying to take, unless you're hurt or something, do what you got to do. And then that's when I say guiding your trainer. So 100%, because you're going to have voices. And unfortunately in America, the one thing that I've noticed more recently, I always noticed it, is how many fast food options we have in every single corner.
Crazy, bro.
It's literally, I think, 80 to 20, like 80% more bad shit food versus 20% healthier food around you. That you have almost the option of no option of like, all right, I'm hungry, let me just go get this.
Is the discernment that we were talking about. You have all this food.
Yep.
You have to be conscious enough, aware enough to say, well, this is what I can't eat all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, because guess what? All them things are really good.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you got to think about your health, and you got to think about, so that's, to me, is back to the same social media overload. Like here we're overloaded with choices.
Yeah.
So it's like a blessing, right?
Yep.
And a curse at the same time.
Correct.
But you can choose to make it a blessing or a curse.
That's true.
It's just you how you want to move in that space. But yeah, I think that the culture thing from us too in Colombia, I think one thing that's all Spanish people should get rid of, and again, this was from our grandparents, so that you got to think 70s, 60s, 50s around there. People really were didn't have food like that. People it was more scarce.
Yeah.
Everything was more scarce. So I think that's why it went to the you got to finish all your food and eat it, because we don't have no more food.
I don't know if you're not Spanish.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful if you go to somebody's house and you don't eat the entire plate. I've been literally
or period. I remember growing up, you're not leaving this table until you finish all the food type of thing. And it's this is the mindset that gets us in the trouble of well, I gotta eat everything every time.
Correct.
But it's nah, if I'm satisfied, if I'm good, I could stop there and eat it later.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I think you say too. Eat it till you're 80% full.
Yeah,
or something like that. You know, you don't have to.
You don't have satisfied, not.
I mean, in Spanish, it's called comiendo con gula. In English, it's overeating, right? It's like you're done, but you have half a burger there, and you're just like, I can finish it. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
but then you're gonna feel like shit after. And if you feel like this, like a couch potato, literally like a couch potato, that means the foods that you're not eating is not good, or you're probably overeating.
Right.
There's a reason why your body's saying, "Yo, what's going on?" And I'm sure everybody's had that moment.
Gotta take a nap.
They have that moment, they're like, "Why did I do that to myself?"
Right.
And it's
I
like,
think everybody's been there.
That.
Yeah, it's but yeah, it's one culture reference, and then the other one I think too that people don't realize, for example, because in Colombia, you do see a lot of fit people.
Yeah.
Right. I would say more than Europe, you see more obesity for sure, but it's still not horrible.
Yeah.
Still not definitely like America. But I think the main thing that people forget is just that over there people don't have cars.
Yeah.
And you literally have to walk. So yeah, you might be able to burn off that super huge Colombian style breakfast by 1 o'clock, because if you're a regular person that doesn't have a car, you've now walked 3,000 steps, took 2 buses, and then walked another 1,000 steps to get to wherever you gotta go. It's crazy.
So what's funny? One thing that I learned, I don't know, at least with my Colombian family and the way I was taught, dinner has always been our biggest meal. Right. But I was just in Colombia recently. Some of my team is in Bogota, and we're over there. And I've learned, and to me, it was such a shocking news, because I thought this whole time it was like that. Their biggest meal is lunch.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't even know what you
then
mean.
they eat something light for dinner. That's what they were explaining to me, even in Medellin. And some of them from Medellin, Cali, and they were telling me like it was funny because I was just like I was eating something light for lunch, like a sandwich. You're like they're eating a bandeja paisa, and then for dinner I'm eating a steak, and they're like, oh no, I just want a little sandwich. I'm like, wait, what?
Thinking almuerzo was always like lunch was always the strong play for sure.
So I'm just like, this is crazy. The fact that you know, again, here is always like big portions. You know, dinner getting a big steak, lunch. You know, eat a sandwich, and then for even breakfast, you can have a big meal. And that's another thing too. You don't have to eat throughout the entire day. Like, you know, people think that they have to have.
I think that's a good tip that we can give everybody. Like, all right, if you weigh a lot and you have a lot of excess like calories, which is like, let's not call it the F word because that's super mean. But if you have a lot of extra calories, like, I know it's gonna suck. You're not gonna feel good. You're gonna be a little bit of a headache. You're gonna whatever. But like, if you can learn how to like manage that. That'll help you lose weight.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is just not going to eat more and letting what you got in there burn.
100%.
And you're not going to die. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. You could live for a while. As long as you got water, you'll be all right, which is why fasting works.
Yeah.
The thing is that people don't understand or like they're not aware of until you fast is that there gets to the point where it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because you do want to eat and you're driving down the street and there's Dunkin' Donuts, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Starbucks, and like quarter-mile radius.
That's true.
And now you're like, damn, I know I'm not supposed to eat, but like I'm not feeling good and I'm hungry and you know, and all this stuff is tough to fight it, guys. But if you guys are down and like, you know, you gotta ask Chris because he's actually learned to like almost discipline himself into being more patient. It's mental. That's why I said earlier, it's all behavioral and psychological, you know. But if you can break out of these little like, you know, patterns that you are
they're
stuck
bad habits. I mean,
habits,
and that's why essentially you have to, you know, I mean, the book Atomic Habits, I think that's a great book. It even says it in there, like, you know, it takes about 3 weeks or so to build a habit. So like, if you're gonna go to the gym, go for 3 weeks.
21 days, 66 days, you know.
So like, the more that you do something, the more it becomes normal, and you don't even think about it anymore. But the more you do something for the first time, of course you're gonna think about it. You're like, oh, why am I here?
Everything sucks at first. I think that's what people don't get. And like, you might not see nothing happen until day 21. That's where we're encouraging you guys to just show up anyway. Just the hardest part earlier, I didn't get to touch on it, is, you know, 50% of the battle is getting to the gym. It's getting there. Like, once you get there, like, you're right, you're gonna do something. And so at first, I love that way. That's what I tell a lot of people. It's just like, yo, for now, just go there. And just, even if you don't feel like you know what you're doing, if you don't, just go on the treadmill, do something, because that habit is gonna eventually stick. You're gonna start associating how much better you feel after working out. Because that's another thing I think people don't realize. Like, I don't think I've met anybody. Obviously, no, let me take that back. If you have a crazy trainer, which I think it's too many out here that are just killing people and like I said, hurting people earlier. Like, but if you have a really good workout that's dosed to like your level, you always feel really good after.
Yeah, your energy's up.
You always feel great.
I worked out this morning. I love I can work out anytime, but I found for me at least what works the best is I work out mornings. And then the rest of the day is like I guess you can call it a sugar high.
It's caffeine
with no sugar.
It's like caffeine. Yeah, it's like
I'm
caffeine.
just like,
it just gets the
I'm
central
up,
nervous
I'm
system
awake,
going.
And then, you know, there's days that I can't go in the morning, so I'll go at night. But yeah, you know, I just kind of like, or what I've been doing, a little trick, if because a lot of people ask me, because there's been times that I'll go to the gym every day and like, what's your rest day? My rest day is I'll go today in the morning and I won't work out until the next day at night. So that becomes my rest hours. That's when I was starting, because I have a lot of excess fat, so my fat wanted to come off. So it was just like, let me continue. But I'm starting to notice now that I'm at a different level now, that like a complete rest day and the reset is so important. Sleeping is so important. Drinking water, and it's almost in stretching. Oh man, I mean, we talked about it the other day. I was like, I need a foam roller. What is that? I need this.
Shout out to Rolga. Shout out to the Rolga fam, guys. I'll hopefully get a little something for you guys. But Rolga.com, best rollers out.
Yep. And then I even told you like bands and all that stuff. I was like, because I've noticed that like now that I'm running more and everything, like I'm starting to have days where I'm like, all right, I'm feeling like my body's just like going through these transitions. Like, hey, what's going on? You lost all this weight, and now I gotta really dial it down, right? And then and that's why there's levels to it, right? And even for athletes, too.
You adjust, right? Once you get to a certain level, then like things have to adjust. So like what was working great for you? I mean, you could have kept doing it, but what happens is that like now you're feeling different, right? And also you're running too, so it's a little more intense than walking, and so the mobility now becomes more important. And obviously, I think obviously anybody losing weight, like, definitely keep trying to touch the weights, They don't have to be like super heavy or anything, but just like, you know.
That's where I'm at now.
Working on just trying to do, you know, do some good stuff. It doesn't have to be all machines, you know. I think free weights are better, but obviously if you're not ready for free weights, go to the machines. Like whatever gets you doing something, do it. But the most important thing is being open to switching things up and like once you get to a certain goal, being like, okay, we're here. What it took to get here was level 1, but to get to that next level, you're gonna have to change the plan a bit. You know, most of it might stick. It might still be 75% the same program, but there's 25% adjustment now that we got to make because you are feeling different.
Correct.
So, and that's where having a coach and you being able to talk to the coaches and them being able to guide you and help you, which is where I think coaching is definitely like helps like people making these transitions and trying to make these big transformational changes actually occur.
Yeah. Now, one question that I wanted to ask, why Leading Edge? Where did that name come from?
Honestly, man, that's such a good question. I don't know if I really want to share that, but I guess I will, man. I mean, like, you know, I love God. Everybody, you know, whatever y'all believe in, like, I definitely love God. But through my journey of like just self-development, I ran into the Abraham Hicks books that are all about like manifestation and like. So this quote is actually from Ask and It Is Given. So they say in like the beginning of the intro of the book is that they are the leading edge in thought. So they said that. So it was around COVID time. I started this company when I was like COVID lockdown. So I was like, oh, let me make that LLC. Let me start. Let me figure it out. I was coaching before that, but like not for myself or nothing like legal on paper. So from there moving forward, I was like, what name? And I was like, well, you know what? I feel like I am in the leading edge to provide those training solutions. So that's why I named it Leading Edge Training Solutions because, like I was saying earlier, like, you know, no disrespect to all the coaches out there. There's a lot of good ones, but there's also like a lot of crappy ones. And it's like, I feel like I'm at the leading edge of like, if you come and tap with me, like you're just going to be exposed to like a different type of training that, you know, is not anything I figured out. I'm standing on the shoulders of a lot of giants. I say this all the time. So many good coaches that I've learned from, but I'm that guy, even though I'm only 35, that I rather learn from the 60-year-old. I rather learn from the guy who's been in the game for 30, 20 years. And because honestly, with the amount of information we have now, like you can learn what took somebody to learn 30 years in like a book. So like shout out to Michael Boyle. He's like, I would say my biggest influence. Like I've read his 2 main books and that first book was what changed my approach to coaching. You know, so like if you guys are trying to learn something, get good at something, try to find some people that do what you do. Try to find the ones that are good and find the ones that resonate with you because like I could have picked many different like kind of quote unquote mentors, but I decided to invest my money with Michael Boyle's strength and conditioning. I did all their certifications and all that stuff, and to me it's paid off great. Now you might go a different route, whatever that is. I just want to encourage you guys to find your route.
Surround yourself in that world. I mean,
and figure out what works for you.
You know, and then that's gonna keep you going and learning and understanding too. Like you know, whether you're a trainer starting out, you might have some type of idea of like what to do, a plan, all that, but you do have to, I call it pay the respects of the people that done it before you. And you might have the more genius solution, the new innovative solution, but you still have to understand how things work. You can't just tell somebody, hey, go run and jump, and you don't even know how to do a basic stretch. Like you got to have a good foundation yourself so that you can then teach others. You can't just only learn the end of like, oh yeah, I saw LeBron James doing this stretch, so let me do that and teach that. It's like, no, it's not how that works, man.
And like again, I love that example because and touch base on that. Like training a professional athlete compared to like a 12-year-old kid is like a completely different thing. Like whoever's out there, I don't know if you know any professional athletes or like, but like a few of the professional athletes I trained, like man, those guys are not only so like elite, but like I could show them things one time and they'll get it and they'll do it better than me. Where like with a kid, like you're trying to get that proficiency. It's like way different. So to me, like if you guys are basing who you're gonna train with because he trains pros, like I think you should do a little more homework because no disrespect to those guys, like training pros is easy from my perspective because they know how to do everything. That's why they're pros.
You don't have to you don't have to micromanage them as much as a
but make a Joe to a pro. I think that's why I think I'm good because I think I can do that. You know, I've changed a lot of kids and made them good athletes that to begin with weren't good athletes. So obviously I'm building off my confidence and like and what I've seen. But at the same time, I just want to touch base on that because I think a lot of people are like, well, I want to work with this guy because he works with so and so and he works with so and so. And I was like, yeah, but like you don't even know if he's really going to be able to train you at the level you're at.
That's true.
LeBron James is on a different level.
Yeah.
And like you're talking about like the 1% of the 1% almost. So like doing what LeBron does, more than likely won't work for you.
Yeah,
just straight up, because LeBron is LeBron and you're not.
Yep, that's true.
It's to break people's hearts, but it's just genetics and
but that's where the media comes into play. They see all this on TV and social media. It's so easy, or whatever, you know. And yeah, it's a lot to it, guys. I mean, do your research, and then also you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
I think you gotta no matter what you do, whether it's business or whether you're working out, whatever, you gotta show up and you gotta put in the work and be accountable and staying consistent. And then the rest just falls into place, you know. And then do that to start off, and then you know get guidance, get a trainer. You know, you got my boy E if you're in Fort Lauderdale and stuff like that. Especially if you got any kids or if you're trying to better yourself, you know. And also you gotta also realize that you need the help. Right. You gotta say, hey, I can't do this on my own, and it's okay to do it. Not like all these professional athletes, they don't just do it on their own. You know, sometimes it's their dad that's pushing them. Sometimes there's different people that are influencing them to continue doing it. Because do you see these, like, what is that kid, Julian Newman? His dad pushed him and all this stuff. But even then, even till this day, he's still, I think he released something saying that he still want to be in the NBA, and he's still training every day, training. So whether he makes it or not, he's doing what he needs to do to try and potentially get a shot at what he wants to be as a goal. Right. But if he could have just easily been like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm already getting older. It is what it is. Right. And then live his life. Cool. But the fact that he's being consistent, you got to admire that he's still doing it, right?
He's trying, right? Right. I think the trying thing is so important. I think anybody out there watching, like, you know, try. I think we, like, nobody as a society, like, we just don't want to try stuff, man. We want to be in the comfortable side of things. And, like, trying is uncomfortable. You know, like, showing up and doing 100%. Your jogs, doing your walks is uncomfortable. Like, I don't always want to go to the gym. I think that's one thing that people always like, oh, but, you know, for you it's easy because, like, you're in the gym all the time. I'm like, yo, when I'm done, I don't want to be in the gym no more. But I'm like, yo, I got to get my workout in, like, because I know, like, that is what got me to be how I am today. So if I stop doing what I've been doing, not that I'm scared of losing it or anything like that. It's just that understanding that, like, hey, you're all tired. Like, we all have a lot of responsibilities. People have kids, like multiple, like me and you are multiple business owners. Like, we're all busy. I'm not going to make an excuse. I'm just going to try to find out where we can make this happen. So sometimes it's at the end of the workday. I would say for anybody who's busy, in the beginning of the day, I think is the best time, to be honest, because like you were saying, you get that like caffeine boost. But regardless, be aware of your time. Find out where you can make some time. And then from there, like you were saying, try to do it. That's step one. Just try. And then from there, you'll figure it out.
Show up. All right, man. Well, I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up. E, man, I appreciate you joining us in the Unfiltered podcast, man.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to if you see some Joes turn to pros, you know.
Right. Yeah, look for me. There might be some out here in South Florida. There's definitely, I think some of my kids will be pro in the next few years.
So I'm excited for that because that's cool too. You know, the fact that it's almost like a proud dad moment. You're like, I knew that kid
even
when
just
he
my
couldn't
kids.
jump.
I mean, I had a couple kids get to college scholarships this year. So I thought that was super cool. One of them, I was been training since 12 years old. So like he's 18. So like you build these relationships with these kids, and it's just cool to see them. I wouldn't say so much like a proud dad moment, but it's more just like I know how hard you work. Man. So I'm so happy that you're getting rewarded because like we were saying, who's going to put in 6 years of work? See, that's what we're talking about. Like to see those changes, it's like years. So I think people could take away like start day one today, and then like try to do it till you're on year 5, and then come back and watch this and be like, dang, those guys were not lying. They were telling the truth.
That's true. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Wish you the best in the luck.
Thank you so much. Same with you, man.
All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Appreciate y'all. Unfiltered.